Hi guys, Jenny here and I'm back with another 12 by 12 process video for you today, and this one's for the SpiegelMom Scraps design team, and I'm just showing you what I've done. I've cut out a bunch of tags using some diamond press tag dies, and I've also used some Kaisercraft alphabet dies and cut part of my title out of it, and then I used a little small, I think it may be ½ an inch, Fisker's heart punch, and just punched 2 hearts out of a couple of those tags as well, so they're going to form part of my title, but I wanted to make some little shaker pockets out of them, so I've just, like I said, cut them out on my pattern paper. I'm using the new Pink Paisley Horizon collection for this, and I used, I think it was paper number 20 maybe, it's the one with all the 2-inch squares of patterns on it, and I used that for my tags. And I've just used my A2G tape to run that onto the back of the tags, and then popped them on some acetate and trimmed the excess acetate off, and so that's going to be the base for my shaker pockets. But I'm just going to go through the 12 by 12 papers for Horizon and find something suitable for the background. I wanted something nice and light to really help those tags pop off the page, and I was thinking that light pink initially that I pulled out, and then I came across that one with all the text on it, and I really liked it. It was simple, it had lots of really nice little phrases. I've pulled out a couple of other patterns as well. I thought this could be a good option because it was a nice white base, but decided those crosses were too colourful. There's that text paper, light pink. I'm going to go back to that text paper because it just makes the tags pop just a little bit more, so that's what I've decided I'm going to use. I'm going to cut off the branding strip, and I don't normally keep my branding strips, but for some reason I was kind of quite compelled to keep it. It was rather pretty, so I've just popped it to the side, and I end up using it later on, so you'll see that come in shortly. So with these little shaker tags, I'm just going to use some adhesive foam tape just to kind of form a barrier around the shape of each of those letters on the back of the tag, and that's going to help to form my shaker pocket. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to all of those tags. Of course I'm not going to make you watch it, but the tags spell out Eddie Seat with a couple of hearts, and the photos are, I've got 2 photos of my daughter Edison and my husband in the tractor. And this tractor was a special tractor. We've got a tractor on the new farm that we're currently on that has one as well, but it's got a little seat beside the driver's seat, just a little one, and my husband calls it the Eddie seat. So I thought that this, I haven't documented it before, I thought it was a nice thing to kind of document and tell the story, because they'd go off together and my husband would say, come on, come in the tractor with me, you can go on the Eddie seat, and Eddie would always be excited to go. She had her own little seat in the tractor. So I've just got photos of them in one of the paddocks outside our house, and they were driving around the paddock, and Eddie was having a blast in her little Eddie seat. So yeah, okay, so I backed both those photos with a couple of patterns from the 6x8 paper pad, and I pulled off the chipboard sticker set, the word adventure. I would have preferred it to say adventures, but it didn't, so it just has to be adventure. And I will pull in a few more letters in a minute to continue that title, but I've just gone along with a little hole punch and punched holes in the top of all of those tags, just so that I can add some embroidery. I've got white embroidery thread. I don't have white twine. I've never seen white twine anywhere in any of the shops that I shop at, so embroidery thread would do just fine, but I'm going to string all of those tags along on that thread. So I'm just going to string that first row, and I did kind of play with the design of where I wanted them, but I decided that this kind of central vertical design was the best. It's just going to keep everything in line and really make those tags a feature. Okay, so I've done both of those strings of tags. I'm just going to pop both of my photos together and back them with some adhesive foam in the center. I'm just going to move that thicker up, and then I'm going to bring in my little foam thickers. These are from the Whimsical collection. I'm just going to spell out in these. So it's going to be Adventure in the Eddie Seat. So that's going to be my title. Okay, so now I'm going to start embellishing the page. I'm going to go through the die cuts. I've got the die cut ephemera pack and the flower pack mixed in this little container here. I'm just pulling in pieces. I'm not really sure what direction I want to go in or what items I want to bring in. I like the idea of bringing in one of those die cut flags, and this yellow one was perfect. It gave me a spot to journal on. So I'm going to pop that up on that top left hand corner, just kind of adding to that feel of tags that we've got going on the page. I did try some frames, but they don't make it. I felt like I was kind of losing they'd get lost and kind of almost wasted. I did bring in that large pink circular flower piece and just tucked it in that top corner. And I'm just continuing to go through. There's not a whole bunch of stuff that I don't want to overwhelm it. I want those tags to be a real feature. So I'm just kind of sifting through everything, trying to see what I could bring on the page. And I do toy with a little banner die cut in the centre of the top of those two photos for quite a while. I very nearly stick one down, but I find some other stickers that kind of go a little bit better with the sentiments that were on them. So I've popped that green one there, and that does stay there for quite a while. I'm going to bring in a few flower die cuts. I love these ones. They're a lot smaller than the ones from Whimsical, so they are a lot easier to get on the page, which I'm really enjoying. And I want to bring one to the left of the photos. There's an empty spot there, and that pink one makes it. And I'm just going to continue to look through. And I think I do about at this point decide to stop after I pop another little flower on there. I think that's about the time. I think I should probably stick those tags down it and fill them in place first before I try to embellish too much more. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I'm just basically going to flip it over, and I'm using some sequins from the I Love You More, and I do add in a couple from the Hexaglam mix as well, the gold ones, just for a pop of gold. I'm just grabbing them now, just sprinkling a few in there, just trying to get it in place. And then I've just removed the adhesive, the non-adhesive backing on that tape, and popped my little tag in place. So I'm going to do the two outside ones first, and then I stick down the centre one, and then that kind of gives me an indication of where I should pop those other two on either side of that centre one, just to get that line right, or that curve of the banner right, if that makes sense. So I'm just removing the backing. A little bit fiddly, but that's okay. Just trying to line it up, making sure it's even with the Y on the other end, and then I can press it down. There we go. And I'll do the centre one. I'm not going to make you watch it all. It's pretty simple once you've seen a few. I'm trying not to overfill those sequin shaker pockets as well. I want a little bit of movement, but I also want them to look full. So just heading along, adhering that centre one down. And there we go, just working on my last one. Just tidy up, move my sequins out of the way, and now I can kind of finish embellishing the page. Now I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with the ends of the tags, and I thought that a butterfly might be a good option. And at first I thought maybe I should join those two together, but it looked a little bit funny, so I thought maybe 4 butterflies, one on each end of those banner strings. But I do go back to my original idea of just having just one butterfly either side. And I quite like it. I just had to use the glue to kind of shape that string, and I like that. There we go, I'm just trying it out. I'm going to add a couple of little dragonflies, and I'm just going to use my glue to kind of pop a little bit under that embroidery thread, and it's going to shape where that string is going to fall on the page. Just a little bit to where they meet at the top, and then a bit underneath those stickers. So those butterflies were stickers. I've just popped them on some white cardstock and fussy cut them out, so that I can bend them in the centre and have their wings pop up off the page. So I'm just doing the same to the left hand side of this banner, just forming the shape of that string with the help of some glue, and a little bit of glue where they meet, and then again some on the butterflies. Okay, quite happy with that. Just going to move these dragonflies a bit. And I'm just going to pop the inside of each of those letters, the A's, the D, on the top of those acetate shapes, just to finish them off. And now I can kind of finish embellishing. So I'm going to bring in some stickers. I like the idea of bringing some flowers down the bottom part here, so I'm just going to cut a bit of this pink one that I popped down the bottom just so that it fits nicely up against the edge of that tag. And I'm going to add another flower to the left hand side of that cluster. I'm just going to trim it again so that it fits nicely and flush up against that tag. And I'm going to bring in a few hearts. I like the idea of that postage stamp, so I'm just going to bring it in. It's more for colour than anything. A little chipboard heart at the top left. And I'm going to start to glue everything down. So I don't want to waste that entire die cut piece. I'm just trimming the excess off. I can easily tuck that under in the midst of a cluster, another cluster on another layout, so I don't want to waste it. And I'm just going along with my ATG tape and popping everything back in place. This one I'm going to pop up on some adhesive foam tape and just tuck it under the left of that photo just to give a bit of dimension. I'm going to glue down my photos, pop them back in place. This one here I'm going to glue down, but I do cut that yellow flower off because it's rather wasted under there. So just tuck that in place, and then it does get shuffled around a little bit, but I do end up popping it to the right over there. I'm going to pop it up on some adhesive foam tape just so we've got a bit of dimension, a bit of interest. And again, just working my way around, gluing everything down. This one here, I pop some foam tape on it, and then I pick up the epoxy puffy stickers and realise that there were actually sentiments, here we go, that I liked better. So I'm going to replace that banner with a couple of these. I'm going to tidy up a little bit. And I wanted something either side of the layout just to kind of enforce that vertical design. And of course I grabbed that branding strip that I cut off the bottom, and I've got 2 sheets of this pattern paper, so I'm going to cut the branding strip off the other one, and I'm going to use them either side of my layout. And I really like the pattern on it, the colours, it brings in all the colours, and it's a really nice detail on either side of the page. So I'm just trimming that one up, making sure that it's straight. I like that it really kind of frames everything that's on the page. So I'm going to just do a thin line of glue, glue it down, and then I do take it over to my sewing machine and just stitch with white thread, just a plain straight stitch down the inside part of those branding strips, just to add some texture onto the sides. And there we go, we're back. I've done my stitching. I'm just going to tape down the ends of that thread with some washi tape just to make sure they stay in place, and I'll trim off the excess. Super simple, but it adds so much detail. Tape the last one down, trim it off, and there we go. I'm just going to fluff up the edges of these die cuts a little bit just to give a bit of texture. I'm going to pop a little bit of glue behind this chipboard piece because I hadn't done that, and I was afraid it was going to lift off. Okay, so I wanted some more sprinklings of pretty little things, so I'm going through some sequin mixes. I'm going to add some blues, some peach coloured, some pinks and some yellows. So I'm going through a few mixes. We've got peaches and cream, which I use some blue from that, and Ride the Tide, which I use blue from that as well. Just kind of sprinkling them around this blue butterfly. And then we're going to add some peach coloured ones around this similar coloured butterfly over here. It's a nice little subtle kind of tone on tone detail with the sequins. And I'm going to add some dark pink ones from the Dragon's Tail mix. A couple of different shades of pink. Just around the word adventure in this dark pink die cut piece up there. So again with the tone on tone kind of details. And then I'm just looking for some yellow, which I'm going to pop down by this yellow heart that's down the base of the layout. Just picking out the ones that I want. And then that's pretty much it for my layout. So I hope you enjoyed the process. Don't forget to use the code Virginia15 in the SpiegelMom Scrap shop to get 15% off your purchase. But until next time, bye guys.